Alright, welcome back to the channel. We're ready to start our next part of the video project for our setup building class. We're going to be working with video 6, which is going to be where we set our cross weight, and this is where we will be basically setting up and building our long-term run for the setup. This is where we're going to get our chassis balanced out and get our tire wear as close to balanced as possible to get as much life out of the tires and reduce our fall off as much as we can. But before I do that, I wanted to go out here and run at least a lap or two as we sit right now, just to make sure that our ride heights and stuff, splitter clearances and our side skirt clearances and whatnot are good to go and nothing's hitting the track. Since we were playing around with the forward ballast and moving weight around in the truck, that will affect our ride heights, and we just want to make sure everybody is okay and everybody's happy. And then we're going to go ahead and go into our setup here, do a quick once over on it, make sure everything is good there, make sure our caster's good, our camber's good, make sure there's no preload in the front end of the thing. We'll zero out our link slack. Camber looks good. Caster needs a slight adjustment there, so good thing we checked. Truck arm preload is good now, so we should be good to go on everything there. So I'm going to go out and run my first 20 laps of this run. And basically, we're going to be getting our baseline run for our cross weight, with our cross weight set at what it's at right now, which is 63.6, which is where it happened to fall into place after we got the springs adjusted and gotten our cross or nose weight adjusted. That's just where it happened, where the cross weight happened to fall. I have not done any adjustments on cross weight at all since we started building this setup a couple videos ago. So I'm gonna go out and get my baseline, figure out where we're at with it tire wear wise, and kind of go from there. I'll see you in about 20 laps. Alright, we got our first 20 lap baseline for cross weights done, so let's go in here and record our data. It's looking like our fastest lap time is going to be 56.730. Our last lap was a 58.256. And we'll go look at our wear numbers here. Pull that out of the way for a moment. Our right front wear is 83. Right rear wear is 92. And that's actually not too bad. So we are basically within about a 10 to 11% split, which is not too far off. We want to get a little closer than that though if we can. So we're going to come down here and we're going to start bumping up our nose weight. We're at 53 or 63.6 right now, so we're going to take it down to a 63.2. So we're going to come down here to the right rear spring. On the spring perch offset, we're going to raise this side one click while we watch our cross weight. Come over to the left rear, down one click, left front up one click, right front down one click, right rear up one click, left rear down one click, left front up one click, and that takes us right to our 63%. And it sounds like my neighbor is going all ape shit downstairs again. She's screaming at her kids or her boyfriend or somebody. So if you can hear her, I apologize for that, because I know this microphone will pick her up when she is in her screaming raging fit. But at any rate, that's where we're at with this right now. I'm going to go ahead and did change my camber, so I'm going to fix that. Caster still looks good. Cross or ARB preload looks good. Come down here, check our preload. It jumped up a little high on us. Now it looks good. With all that done, we're going to go ahead and go out and run. It felt a little like it was trying to slide a little bit in the corner, so I'm going to make a slight adjustment right off here, just to the rear track bars. I'm going to drop this one down 1/4 of an inch on both sides, just to make sure that she's not sliding on entry or on exit, because it was feeling like it was trying to do that a little bit. We'll come back and we'll dial that in more in depth when we get to track bars and truck arms. But for right now, we're just going to dial on that a little bit, just to make sure that it's not sliding on us coming through the corners as we start to adjust our cross weight. Because as we adjust cross weight, it will make the car rotate more. And if there's a low grip situation due to track temperature or something like that, worn tire or something like that, it can make the car snap loose as it begins to over rotate, and it overloads the traction balance of the tire, and it's no longer able to maintain grip. So now we got that done, we're going to go ahead and click on done. And go ahead and quit iRacing so we get a fresh horse. And I think I said right, I think we went down to 63%. We'll check it just to make sure here in a second. So it should be like 63.0. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and launch iRacing and go out and run 20 more laps, and I'll see you in just a moment or two. Okay, I just finished my last run here, and I did it a little bit differently than I had been doing it. Before, I'd been running 20 lap runs, but right before I started this run, I decided to actually go to the race information page and find out how many race laps the actual race was. It turns out this is only a 50 lap race when we go to run it, so halfway is going to be 25 laps. So instead of just running 20 laps and getting my data, I just went ahead and ran the full 25, which would take me to halfway, which would be where my scheduled pit stop would really relatively show up at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my information for this run. So our lap time, fastest lap time for run 2 was 56.521. Now all these numbers are done 5 laps apart from each other. As far as the total run length of the race, it's not really that big a deal, because 5 laps will make a difference, but over 25 laps over 20 laps isn't going to be that big of a difference as far as tire wear and stuff goes. So we're going to go ahead and grab our last lap run, 58.187. And for most tracks, I will use a 20 lap run, just because on most tracks like the 1.5 miles where they got an 80 lap race, 20 laps is going to be about halfway to the halfway point. So about 1/4 of the race would be a 20 lap run. And that gives me plenty of laps to get tire data and other data and lap timing data and stuff like that for the run as I'm building the setup. And then what I would do is as I get closer to getting everything dialed into where I want it to be, particularly on cross weight, then I would actually go up and run it up to the halfway point and adjust the cross weight and whatnot as needed to even out the tire wear up to the halfway point of the race. Since our halfway point is only 5 laps away from where we've been running the normal runs here of 20 laps, I just went ahead and just did a 25 lap run here, and we'll go off of that. So we'll go ahead and grab our tire wear. And see how we look. right front is at 66, it looks like. Our right rear is at 89. Which means we have us about, for the second run, about 20-some% difference between tire wear. So we're going to go up and we're going to take that from a 63 down to a 62.5 just to see what happens with it. And we're going to start dropping this in 0.5% increments. Now I know I said over here to do 2% because it can, just in case it gets loose on you, but in order to save a little more time, save a little bit more time and try to get this done quicker, I'm going to take a slightly bigger bike, and if I have to, I will adjust my adjustment as needed. So we're going to come down here to 62.5, so down to the right rear spring, up one on the spring perch offset, down one on the left rear spring offset, up one on the left front offset, down one on the right front offset. And we keep doing this till we get to 60, what was it, 60 and a half? And actually get it down to 62 even. So we'll go back up one, down one, up one, down one, up one, down one, up one, down one, up one. Alright, now we're at 62 even. We'll go ahead and record that in our next run stint here, which would be run number 4, I believe. Put this at 62%. Pull this down and get this all squared away. Format cells, border, outline, inside, okay. Now what we're seeing basically with this, as we started off, our first 20 lap run we had 92 on the right rear. Now after 25 we've got 89 on the right rear. So our tire wear got a little higher, or got a little bit better on our right rear tire, which was, I was hoping to actually see it get a little bit less tire left versus where it's at. I'd like to have seen that number go down from a 92 to probably a 93 on the right rear rather. Our right front started at 83 and it went down to an 86. Part of that was mainly due to the fact that the number of laps and the amount of tire wear that's going to occur over those extra 5 laps is going to be a lot. You got a lot more time on the track with 5 additional laps, because here that's 5 additional laps here is 25 miles, I believe. 2.5 times 5, yeah, it'd be another 5 miles. Or 25 miles or something like that. I'm shit with math, so bear with me if I'm wrong. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to come up here. We've got our 62.5 noted on that. We got it in our setup here. Double check, make sure everything's good. Our camber changed, so we got to fix that. Caster looks good. Toe end looks good. Clear out or zero out our link slack to make sure we aren't getting any preload in the thing. Toe end looks good. And adjust our truck arm preload to get it back to where we want that to be. Now, in the previous run, after the first run, I went through and dropped these track bars 1/4 of an inch because it did feel like it was a little slippery out there on the track, and I didn't. And as I'm adjusting this cross weight, I don't want to to end up getting really loose on me where I can't drive it. So we're going to go out now, and then once we get the cross weight all figured out, get our tire wear balanced, then we'll start working with getting these track bars set properly. So let's go out. I'm going to reset iRacing. Well, burn another 25 laps and see where our tire wear looks. And I'm going to go ahead and put you on a brief pause, and we'll go ahead and come back in 25 more laps. Alright, we basically made it to halfway, so let's go ahead and do our lap times, which is going to be a best lap of 55,775. Our last lap was a 58,728. Get our tire wear information. So our right front is at where did it go? Right front 49, 59 rather. Looking at the tire pressure. The right rear is at 87. The number of laps was 25. So we got a little quicker in the fastest lap for that deal. And we lost a little bit on our last lap run. And our tire wear has been basically going so we had 92% up to 87%. So our right rear wear has gotten worse. Our left or right front wear appears to be getting a little bit better, which is what we're expecting to see because of what we're doing. By adjusting our cross weight, we are taking weight from the left rear tire and moving it up to the left, or actually from the other way around. We're going from the right rear, taking weight off the right front and moving it to the right rear is what we're effectively trying to do here. So we're going to go over here to our cross weight chart. Our next step in the list is going to be 61.5. Actually, we'll just take it down to 60 even and see what happens with that. So up on the right rear, down on the left rear, up on the right rear, or left front, down on the right front, up on the left rear or right rear, down on the left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, up on the right rear, down on the right or left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, up on the left right rear, down on the left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, up on the left or right rear, down on the right left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, up on the right rear, down on the left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, up on the right rear, down on the left rear. And that's putting us right on the where we're just teetering at 59 to 60%. So we'll go ahead and hit apply on that. Go through and fix all of our other adjustments that got messed up as a result of those right height changes. That'll be our camber on the right front, caster on the right front. Just got to take that back up to 10. Our toe in here went a little screwy on the left front. I'll go back here and see what our right rear camber is supposed to be. As soon as we get to the right log, come over here to alignment, and our right rear should be negative 1.4, and it still is. Left rear should be positive 1.4, it still is. Adjust on our, going the wrong way with that, we need to go down. Close to 0 as it gets. Make sure everything is still dialed in and happy. And it looks like it is, so we'll click done. We're going to reset iRacing and go out and run another 25 laps. And I'll see you in a few moments. Alright, we just finished up another 25 lap run. This would be run number 5. Go ahead and get our lap times. Our fastest lap was a 55.589 or 55.889. Our last lap of the run was a 57.870. Let's grab our tire wear now. And our tire wear looks like it's going to be, the right front is going to be at 54%. Right rear at 83%. And that was 25 laps. We'll come up for get ready for run number 6. And we look like we've got 20 laps there. Right rear is at 92.83 was our first run. 89.66 was the second run. 87.59 was the fourth run. 83.54 was the last run. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start cranking up the cross weight a little higher. We're going to go up to, instead of going to 60%, we're going to go up to, oh shit, let's go down to 55%. Just for giggles. If it gets loose, we can always drop it back. So 1, up 1, down right rear, or up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up left rear, or right rear, down right rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up left or right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down right or left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front. We're down to 58.2. Down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down left right front, up right rear. And so far that's brought us to 56.4. Down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear. Okay, that brings us to 56. Let's go ahead and try 56 and see what the hell that does for us. Go through and check out all of our other adjustments. Preload looks good. Our camber changed again, so we got to take that back down to 2. Adjust that. Adjust our caster. Fix our toe. This is way too high, so we've got to bring this guy down. Again, as close to 0 as we can get without going negative. This means 0.04 foot-pounds. Left rear camber looks good. Right rear camber looks good. Rear toe is at 0. We'll start throwing some toe in it now, so. Zero outer link slack. And let's go out and buzz us another 25 laps. Alright, we just went through and run another 25 lap run, which is, that's going to be basically the halfway point in the race. This is basically, right now we would be at where we would consider it time for considering a 4-tire fuel stop. This would basically be where we would be for a scheduled pit stop. So let's go ahead and grab our times, see how we're doing. So our fastest lap time for run 6. I'm going to go ahead and grab our cross weight percentage here real quick, just to make sure I don't forget to put that in. Alright, and our cross weight is right now at 56.1. And our fastest lap time, go back out and look at that. Do that, we'll get back in the truck and look at our lap timing. Black box, fastest lap time was a 55.626. The last lap time of the run, lap 25, was done at 57.541. Now we're going to go back in and look at our tire wear and see where our tire wear is starting to look. And we'll hit the garage. Tires is already selected. Right front wear is right now at 60. Right rear is at 82. And that was after 25 laps. So based on what I'm seeing right here, we're starting to get closer. It's starting to get closer to being in the neighborhood of where we need it to be, but we've still got a ways to go yet. And on the cross weight, we can go as low as 45%. That's the lowest we can go. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep working our way down with the cross weight, getting it lower, and start moving closer towards that 45% a little at a time as we go through and watch our tire wear over those 25 lap runs. So, but while we're here, we're going to take a quick look at our lap times and see how our lap times are comparing to our previous runs. So our first run was 56.7, and then run 4 was where we made probably one of the biggest changes. We went from a 56.7 down to a 55.775, and then down to a 55.889, and then our last run was a 55.6. So from the time we started until now, we have knocked a second off of our lap times. Just doing this alone. We haven't done anything else since we started doing cross weight except just cross weight. And by doing this, we've managed to knock a full second off our lap times and improved our tire wear significantly. We started off with 92 right rear, 83 right front. Now we've got our right front down to 60 and our right rear down to 82. Our goal here working with crossweight is to get these tire wear numbers for the left front, or for the right front and the right rear, as close to each other as we possibly can. Now, being an oval car, you're never going to get them exactly perfect. That's just because it's the way it is. But try to get them as close to each other as you absolutely possibly can without getting the car too loose and worrying about having to spin it out. So what we're going to do now is we're at a 56.1 cross weight. Now we're going to go back to our chassis. And we're going to start bouncing this back even further down. I'm thinking we'll try taking it down to about 50% even and see what we end up with. And remember, to decrease our cross weight, we want to try to keep our cross weight visible so we can see it as we're making our adjustments to our spring perches. We want to go up on the right rear, down on the left rear, up on the left front, down on the right front, again up on the left rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front. As you're doing this, kind of keep an eye on your cross weight, because it's going to change probably for every click you do on the spring perches. It's going to move at least 0.1% probably per click. So kind of keep an eye on where it's at so you don't overshoot your target which in our case is going to be about, we're going to shoot for 50% even just to see what happens. So we're going to go up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front, down right front, and just keep repeating that process. Now here, when we get to the point where after making a change on one of the spring perches, if one corner goes out of spec, in this case it looks like our left front went too low, and we're still trying to raise our cross weight. Since raising the left front will raise our cross or lower our cross weight and push us in the direction we want to go, we'll just go ahead and raise this up, which should bring it back legal and move us our cross weight in the direction we're wanting it to go. .5, so we've got, actually I'm going to stop when I get to 52 and just try it there for now, just because we don't want to get this thing too big of a jump on it to where we end up getting it where it gets too loose where we can't drive it. And if you just get the cross weight too low, it can do that to where it becomes harder to drive. So right now we're at 52%, which is where we want to be. Unfortunately, our left front corner is too low, and if we raise it up using the spring perches, it's going to drop our cross weight below what we want it to be. So here I'm going to use a little bit of left front camber to try to raise that up to make it past tech. Just like that. That's why I don't initially set the left front camber to get the tire to wear evenly on the left front. I like to reserve the camber for fine-tune ride height adjustments as I get into setting my cross weight and other adjustments that will mess with the ride heights. And right now we want to go through here and go through our setup, make sure nothing has jumped out of where we wanted it to be. And right now our link slack, we need to zero that back out because it did move. And this will move around as we start adjusting our cross weight, because we're essentially starting to put twist into the body or into the chassis. So having that happen is not uncommon. Come down here to our right front camber. It's supposed to be at -2 and it's jumped to -2.4. So we're going to take that back down to -2. Apply that. Our right front caster is jumped to 9.9. We want that to be at 10. Our left side caster stayed where it's supposed to. Our toe in on the left front jumped to 230 seconds. We want to get that back down to 1 where we had it. The right front is still good. Our right rear toe is still good. Left rear toe jumped. We want to get that back down to 1. Our right rear camber, I think we want that to be at 1.4. So we apply that. The left rear camber we also want to be at 1.4 positive. And our truck arm preload is off, so we got to sit there and drop that back down. And since we are literally kind of, as we're adjusting cross weight, we're starting to twist the chassis. So this is going to start to move shit around. So it's not uncommon to see this stuff happen where shit goes out of spec. So we got our preload back on the negative back to 2.4 positive, which is the lowest we can get it without going negative. Go back up, just make sure everybody's still where they're supposed to be. Our camber bounced again, so let's fix that quick. Ride heights are all still showing legal. Our toe is still good. Our caster is still good. rear toe or rear camber looks good. So at this point, everything's ready to go out for another 25 lap run. And at this point, we want to go out and just make sure that we can get it around the track, because we just made a major adjustment to our cross weight. We took a lot of cross weight out of it, going from, where the hell are we right now? We're at 52, I think it was. So we had dropped from, where the hell were we? 56.1. We've come down to 52, and that's a huge change. So this thing might start to get loose on us as we get lower and lower on that cross weight. So just be aware of that as you're going out and driving it. Give it a lap to get a feel for what the thing's going to do and to get some heat in the tires. That is very important. And as you're adjusting this cross weight and doing your springs and everything else on here, you may at times be tempted to play with your brake bias. Don't do that. When I start building the setups, I load the fixed setup when I get ready to build my baseline, and I just leave the brake bias at whatever the fixed setup has it at when you load the fixed setup. And I leave the brake bias alone during the entire setup process. I never change the brake bias, and in fact in some parts of the setup I won't use any brake at all going into the corner, because I don't want the brakes and the brake bias to influence my settings. If you feel a need, you got to make a change to your brake bias driving it around the track as you're building the setup. It means you need to change something in the setup because it's not right. Something's out of balance. Also, listen to your tires as you're going around the track and adjusting on your setup. If you're hearing tire squeal, something is wrong. Something's off somewhere. The balance is off somewhere. Either you ain't got a spring package created right, you got a spring that's not quite happy with where it needs to be, and you have a tire that is doing more work than it needs to, and you need to balance that tire and weight balance out a little more and get rid of that squeal using your setup as best as you can. And here, once we get done doing the cross weight, I will show you how to determine which tire is getting the hell pounded out of it, and it's more than likely going to be the one that's making the noise and squealing, so that you can address it and get the weight off of that tire and try to get it balanced out. But before we do that, I got to go out and run another 25 lap run so we can get updated numbers for our times and our tire wear. So we're going to go out. I'm going to do a reset to make sure my lap number and lap time is cleared out. We'll go out and blast this through real quick here. While I'm waiting for this to load, I'm going to put you guys on a brief pause, and I'll be back after 25 more laps. Alright, we just finished another 25 lap run, so let's go ahead and record our data here. This is going to be run number 7. And our fastest lap time is a 55.551. Our last lap of the run was a 57.040. Take a look at our tire wear real quick here. We'll go to the garage and take a peek at that. Our right front wear is 59. Right rear wear is at, looks like 78. And that was after 25 laps. So we're getting closer on our tire wear. I want to take a look real quick and see how our tires are holding up temperature-wise over the run. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Motec, because I was recording telemetry during that last run. So, and I'm going to come over to my driver tab, make sure I'm on the tires tab. I only recorded the last 10 laps of that run, so this is our first. This is our out lap for temperature. Lap 1. We're getting the right front, a little hot coming through turn 1 there. It's looking real good the rest of the way around. It's getting starting to get a little heat there in turn 3. On the rest of the tires, everything's looking really good all the way around the track. We'll go up a couple more laps here. We'll go to lap 5 and look. It's getting a little warm coming through turn 1, through the tunnel turn. It's nice and cool. Through turn 3, it's warming up a little bit, but not real bad. Yeah, our tire temperatures. And this is the final. This is basically the final 8 laps of the run. So we're at the end of the run. So this would be like lap 22 to lap, or this would be like lap 18 to lap 25. And we're getting a little bit warm there in coming out of turn 3, but still not terrible. And that's why our tire wear is starting to look the way it is, because we're starting to get this thing balanced now. And one thing I want to do here real quick before I go out and make our next adjustment and actually go in and make changes to this thing is I want to actually see what my tires are sounding like in the corners. So I'm going to come in here to my options, go to my sound, and I'm going to turn my engine sounds way down. Probably about like there. So basically I ain't going to be able to hardly hear my engines. I had them originally about there. I've got them, taking them down to about, that should be pretty damn quiet. And my tire sound is up as high as it can go. And I'm going to go ahead and click done. I'm going to go out real quick, take a lap, and now we can't even hear the engine running. It sounds like it's like an electric car. And I've actually got my computer speakers turned up pretty loud so I can actually hear the motor. Now you can hear the wind noise and stuff. I almost forgot to shift 4th gear because I couldn't hear the damn motor. Hardly. As I'm coming through the corner, what do you notice missing? We don't really hear any tire noise. We hear just a little bit, but very, very little. There's almost hardly any tire noise. And keep in mind, I've got the engine noise turned almost all the way down where you can barely hear it. Or at least I can. I can just barely hear the engine. Like the wind noise is actually louder than the engine. And I'm not getting hardly any tire squealing, and I'm actually driving this thing hard. When you're getting it to the point where you're driving the piss out of it like I am right now, and you're not getting any tire wear sound, that's a good sign that you've got the thing pretty balanced. Because the tires that are making noise are the ones that are getting beat up and are sliding on the track. Now, just for giggles, I'm going to stop here for a second. Bring it to a stop. I'm going to save the setup for a moment, and I'm going to load up the baseline setup, or one of the earlier setups. Oh God, you're going to save this as, what tab are we on? What? Number 6 for cross weight, so we'll just go ahead and save this as 6 cross weight. That way we don't lose it when we load an earlier setup. So we'll save that. Now I'm going to go to my setups, and I'm going to go to an older set, or to an earlier version of this setup. So we're going to go to Pocono, and I think we're going to the start of the spring package. That's a good place, good as place as any to start. This is when we were first starting to put the spring package together. And you'll probably hear the tires squalling like mad. Because nothing, really at this point, we haven't done anything except alignment. And I can actually hear the tires. See how you can hear the tires screaming through the corner, where the last run we just did, you didn't hear a damn thing from the tires. Yep, you can really hear them screaming through here. This is because we haven't gotten the spring set yet on this part, on this setup in this state, and we haven't done anything with nose weight, cross weight, or any of that stuff. The only thing that's been done to this at this point is this front end alignment, getting the caster camber and toe set, and our steering off set. I'm actually driving this a little differently than I did in the first one. I'm actually lifting off the corner and not using any brakes. So let's see what it sounds like if I trail brake it. We're still getting quite a bit of tire noise. And those of you that have headphones on are probably going to hear it a lot better than I can, because I'm just going through PC speakers right now.
$56.255.
And that was basically a first lap with fresh tires, and shit, we are a second slower. Alright, so now that I've shown you that demonstration of what your setup should sound like going around the track as you start to get it closer to being dialed in, then it's time to go back out to get back on with the show and finish this job up. So we're going to reload our setup we've been working on. We're working on a cross weight. And for giggles, we're going to take the cross weight now, because we're 59% right front tire wear. Right rear tire wear is at 78. I'd like to see those numbers a little closer together, because they're about 20% apart. So we're going to come up here to the chassis. I got to go back in and reset my volume so that I have them when I actually go in and rate. Actually, if I jump into race, I got my engine sounds like I need them. I think this was at maxed. Everything else is basically as is. So we'll click that. Hopefully I didn't screw my sound all up, but that's basically where we're at right now with this thing. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start taking a little more cross weight out of it to see if I can get that tire wear to balance a little better than it is. It's not bad now. You could probably actually race this and be fine, as long as you don't get crazy on the tires. So I'm going to go ahead and make a quick change here. We've got the cross weight at 52%. Let's take it down to 50 just for giggles. I'll bring it up so we can see it. Spring perch offset, right rear up 1, left front up 1, down 1 on right front, right rear up 1, left front up 1, right front down 1, right rear up 1, left front up 1, right front down 1, right rear up 1, left front up 1, right front down, right rear up, left front up, right front down, right rear up, left front up, right front down, right rear up, right left front up, 54 or 50.4, right front down, right rear up, left front up, and let's see, we'll just drop the right front down 1, and then if we bring the left front back to legal, that puts our cross weight right at 50%. So this thing should be balanced left to right now. So let's go ahead and apply this just for giggles. Reset everything. And then I'm going to go out and run another 20 lap or 25 laps. We'll come in and look at our tire wear and see if we've got this thing just about done. So I'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Alright, we just run another 25 lap run. So let's go ahead and get our numbers and see where we're at with this thing. This is going to be run number 8. And I think we're down to 50% cross weight now. I'll have to check quick and make sure, but our fastest lap time so far has been a 55.624. And our last lap of the run was a 57.479. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab our tire wear numbers and verify that cross weight's right that I put in there. Yep, cross weight's at 50%, which means we've got 5% cross weight left at our disposal if we decide we need to use it. We'll go to our tires. Our right front tire wear after that 25 lap run was, where the hell was it? Right front wear is 59%. Right rear wear was 74%. And that was after a 25 lap run. Let's take a look at our numbers here and see how things are starting to shape up as we start to get closer to being where we want it to be. So looking at our lap times, the fastest lap time when we started was a 56.7, and then our last lap time was a 55.6 or 55.6. So we have improved over a second. We're faster by 1.1 seconds fastest lap time over the course of that run. And the most important number here is going to be this last number, which is going to kind of look at what our long-term fall off and stuff is going to be. We started off after the first run with a 58.2 after 25 laps. Our last run was a 57.4, which means we are a good second, 1.2 seconds faster at the end of that run as opposed to our first run. So we gained 1.2 seconds. Actually, looks like possibly more than that. Yeah, about 1.2 seconds is what it looks like. And our fall off from our fastest lap time to our last lap time is about 2.2 seconds. That is pretty damn good considering as hard as I was pushing this thing. And I was driving this thing right on the ragged edge. I was just giving it all. I was just giving her the full beans. I was just driving the ever-loving hell out of it. And she was holding together really well. And she was fast the whole time. So if this setup continues to hold together the way it's been as we continue building this thing, and I can still drive it, this thing is going to be blisteringly fast at Pocono when we start race there next week. So let's go ahead and get ready for our next run. So we're going to go prepare for run number 9. And we're at 50% cross weight, and we can go down as low as 45 before we can't go any further. So let's take this thing down, let's drop it to a 48 and just to see what it does. So up left rear, or up right rear rather, down left rear, up right left front, down right front, up right rear, down left rear, up left front until it goes legal. We're at 49.3. Down 1 on the right front, up 1 right rear, down 1 left rear, up till it's legal on the left front. We're at 48.9. Down 1, up left rear, right rear 1, down right or left rear 1, up to legal, down 1 on the right rear. So we're starting to get now to the point where we're getting enough twist in the body that we're starting to have trouble getting this thing to where we want it to be, as far as still being able to pass tech. So this is where it's going to start to get a little bit interesting. So we're 48.8. Our caster got screwed up there, so let's fix that. Fix our camber. We're at 48.4. Up 1. Up. Down. Down. And we're going to start getting to the point where we're going to have to start probably sacrificing some cross weight just to get the ride height legal. So we're at 47.9. Okay, so we actually need to come back up on our cross weight. We actually went down a little too low. We want to get that to about 48%. So we got to drop that down to tighten it up. Raise the left rear. Drop the right front, or left front rather. Raise the right front. Drop the right rear. Raise the left rear, drop the right front, so that takes us to 48.1. Drop the right front. Raise the right rear 1 click. And right now she is hovering right at 47.9. Let's see what everything's doing. Our camber got messed up again, so we got to fix that. That's fixed. Caster still looks good. Our preload looks good. Our link slack looks good. No. Rear camber, that got moved, so we got to bring that up to back to 1.4. Apply that. Left side, the same thing, back to 1.4. Drop our truck arm preload down to where we needed that to be, as close to 0 without actually hitting 0. Our right rear toe in is 1, left rear toe in. And it's getting to the point now where it's starting to get finicky. So let's bring that toe to 232. Come on, you fucker, live. Yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's starting to get real picky with stuff. And it's going to get much harder to get stuff exactly where you want it. Preload is set. We have no ARB preload, which is good. Our nose weight is 50%. Cross weight's at 47.9. So we got basically everything where we want it. So let's go ahead and click done. Reset our iRacing. Take her out for another 25 lap run, which is going to be halfway point in the race. And see if we can get our tire wear to look a lot better than it is. And see if we can get that fall off number to get better than it is, because right now we're at about 2.2 seconds. I'd like to see that get even. I'd like to get to see that last lap time get closer to that fastest lap if we can. Now we'll never be able to match it exactly. We'll get it. We might be able to get it close, but we won't get it perfectly there, because you're always going to have some fall off. I don't care how good you set the thing up or how conservative you try driving the thing. That's just the nature of the beast. The tires running around an asphalt racetrack. In ways, it's kind of like taking a grinder to the tire and grinding all the rubber off of it. So we're going to go ahead and start our test drive. I'll put you on pause and we'll be back in 25 laps. All right, that 25 laps is done. Let's see what we got. Run number 9. Fastest lap was a 55.853. Comment there, I need a period. Last lap. In this last lap, I actually screwed up and drove it into the wall because I'm a fucking idiot. 58.853. So that last lap actually would have been probably better if I wouldn't have fucked up and drove it into the wall like a dumbass. Let's look at our tire wear and see where we're at. Right front wear is at 49. Right rear wear is at 61. That was after 25 lap stint. And I I was just pushing the ever-loving hell out of this thing. I was running, like, during this stint, the first 4 laps I ran were the fastest laps I've ever turned here. Ever. In anything. I didn't actually drop below my fastest lap run here until I hit the 5th lap. The 5th lap was the first lap I had where I was starting to see any fall off. So let's get our number of laps, 25. And it is starting to get a little bit free on me where I'm coming through the corner, so it's starting to feel a little bit squirrely or a little bit loose on the exit. But I've got a lot of cross weight, or I've taken a lot of cross weight out of this thing. It's got very low cross weight. We will sit there and try to squeeze a little bit more out. We'll see if we can take it down to a 47 even, because I want to try to get that right front wear back above 50% if I can. So let's take that up to 47.8, 47.7, 47.6, 47.5. Let's try it there and see what we got. Take this up to 2.0, which is where it's supposed to be. Casters look good. Front toe looks good. Right rear toe. And rear toe is looking good. Right rear camber looks good. Left rear camber looks good. Our preload now looks good. I can't believe just how well this thing is holding together. This thing is probably the best setup I've ever driven in the trucks. The only thing I can really find wrong with the setup right now, to be totally honest with you, is the idiot driving it. That's the biggest problem with the setup right now, is the clown trying to drive it. Because Pocono is not my best track. I've never done real good here. I've always struggled with this track. Just don't know why. I struggled particularly with turn 1, and the tunnel turn is one of my most difficult turns to get at this track and get right. I always screw that tunnel turn up. But shit, this thing has just been rock solid since we started working with the doing the crossweight part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this thing. We're going to go out, turn, and run another 25 lap run. See if we can get that tire wear on the right front and the right rear a little bit better than it is. Right now they're about 11% difference, which is very good actually. That's actually really, that's why it's getting the longevity out of it. Before we go and run though, we're gonna kind of crunch our numbers a little bit here and take a look and see what where we're at. We start off at 56.7. Then we went down to a 55.5. So that was a gain of 0.2. 1.2 seconds actually. Then we went down to a 55.6, which we lost about 1/10 there. Then we dropped down to a 55.8. So we actually lost about 0.3 of a second, about 0.2 of a second on that lap, on that run. And that's where we were starting to get the tire wear, where the right front was starting to burn off more than it had been. It was doing all right before, but so we're going to take it back out. If we have to, we'll go back up to 50%. Since we're starting to see the tire wear starting to suffer as we keep going down, which generally the more you go down in crossweight, the lower you get this number, the looser the car is, and the easier it'll be on that right front tire. But keep in mind, I've been driving the hell out of this thing. I've been pushing it hard. I've been braking for the corner, but I've been back on the gas right away and real hard on the gas when I do get back on it. So I'm actually abusing this thing as I'm driving it around the racetrack. And it is taking all the abuse with a smile on his face and say, okay, Daddy, give me more. So let's go out and beat on her some more and see if just how good we can get this thing to get. And keep in mind, we still got quite a ways to do with our setup yet. We still haven't done anything with our aero. We haven't done anything with our shocks. So this thing is far from done. But this thing has just been, since we got to the point where we started working with the nose, or got through the nose weight, started working on the cross weight. As we started getting that cross weight dialed in, this thing has just become faster and faster and more bulletproof as far as fall off goes. This thing has been fast, and it's been holding together for half of the race length, which is unheard of. You don't usually see a Craftsman truck hold its strong speeds throughout half the length of the race. That's for believe it or not shit right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a pause, and we'll go out and turn and burn 25 more and see if we can get that right front tire wear to start to kind of go the way we want it to go now, because it's starting to reverse on us a little bit. So we'll be back shortly. All right, let's go ahead and get our numbers for this next one, or this 25 lap run that we just did. So we'll put that run 10. Let's get our what our actual cross weight currently is. 47.6. The previous one, I think we were like at 48. Oh. So our fastest lap time in this run. Oh, I'm going to click the OK or the done button. Go back into the truck so we can get our lap times. Our fastest lap time for this run was 55.666. The last lap of the run was a 57.322. Let's get our tire wear, and hopefully our right front looks better than it did, but we'll see where it's at. Tires, yeah, we're back over 50% for our right front, so we're 52% on the right front. Right front was at 52%. Right rear is 61%. So I'm going to say our tire wear has about a 9% spread, which is really, really good. I'm very happy to see that. Let's see what our lap times are telling us. We started off with 56.7. Then we went down. Our first major change was going from a 56.7 down to a 55.6. Then a 55.8. And we're now down to a 55.6. So we have improved it by 1.1 seconds over our fastest lap run so far in the whole deal. And I think our fastest one prior to this was a 55.6, 55.5. Yep, our fastest was a 55.5, 55.6. Yep, so this 50% one is our fastest one, and the difference between the two is less than a tenth between our fastest run and the final run we just did. For the long haul, it's 58.2 was the first run. And we got it down to 58.8. And we're down to a 57.3 now. So we have dropped it by 1 point. I gotta do that. I gotta get the calculator. I can't do that math in my head. I'm too stupid to do that. So we went from a 58.2. And we're gonna subtract from piece of shit. 58.2 minus 57.3. So over the testing here of setting our cross weight, our best lap time, or our longest, our long haul lap time, or our final lap time for each run, seen an improvement by 0.9 of a second. And as far as our fall off goes, from our fastest lap to our slowest lap during that final run, our fastest lap was a 55.6. And our slowest lap was a 57.3. The fall off is only 1.7 seconds. That is unreal. I can't believe how well this damn truck is running. This thing is going to be... I need to probably take the Ford logo off the front of it and put an Oldsmobile logo on the front of it, because this thing is just a fucking rocket ship. Holy shit, this thing's going to be really good. And hell, we still got to do aero and the shocks and everything else yet. We still got a lot of shit to do to this thing. And this thing is fast now. It's really good right now. When we get it completely dialed in how we need it to be, this thing is going to scream. As long as we can get in a good split where we ain't going to get caught into a frickin' wreck and get taken out, I see us having a really good run at Pocono this week, or this coming week. And I would love to see Emily build herself a setup using this method. With her driving skill, with this setup building method, if she was to take the time to build one exactly to her driving style, I see her at a 6,000 plus I rating in very short time, along with a lot of wins. Because this setup building process I've discovered here, where you go through and you work through everything, document the whole works, and choose the most optimal lap times and tire wear for the settings, like we've been doing in this series, has proven to be a killer when it comes to building a setup. This thing isn't even finished yet, and it's already the best setup I think I've ever driven in the trucks ever. It's fast, and it stays fast. And that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what this thing's going to be like out in the race when we go to Pocono and race it. I think this thing is going to be really good as long as we don't get killed. But that pretty much brings us to the end of the crossweight section for video number 6. When we come back in the next video, we're going to work on our aero to get this thing to where it goes through the wind and doesn't have any drag, and so we can get maximum downforce out of this thing and make this thing even faster than it is now, which is just going to be scary, I think. And then after that one, all we got left is our high-speed shock settings, get our low-speed shock stuff set, dial in our track bar, and then we're through the setup process with the exception of building our qualifying setup, which is just going to be effectively qualifying tape added to this setup and a few tweaks to make it so we don't spin the thing out during qualifying. But other than that, we've got this setup getting closer and closer to being ready to go. We've just got a couple of more videos left. It looks like we've got one more video, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more videos to completely finish off this series. and we'll be ready to drop this on the track and hopefully go out, kick ass, and chew bubble gum at Pocono. And I haven't bought any bubble gum, so I'm gonna have to go out and kick some ass. I'll be ready to have a damn good run, because in the truck so far lately, since the season started, or even into last season, we haven't done worth of shit in the trucks, and it's been the setup that's been killing us. I think now that I've got a good setup potentially under me that's built around me as a driver and what feels comfortable to me and what I can be fast with, this thing is going to be killer on the racetrack. I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. We won't know that though for sure until we get into the start of the Pocono week, and we can actually get it out into some bobbies and compare it against some of the fast guys that are running out there and see how this thing holds up against them. But I got a feeling I'm going to be very, very, very happy with the way this thing turns out once we get it finished. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and save this file so we don't lose any of our documentation, because if we do that, that would just be a shame after all the work we've done on it. We're going to go ahead and save this setup because it is crossweight, and this is going to be the most recent version of the crossweight. Go ahead and click done. We're going to go ahead and jump out of iRacing and close it down. Clear out our telemetry as soon as I get back to the folder here. Because when we get into the Aero package, when we start working with Aero, which I think is going to be next week, or on the next video, we're going to be using Motec quite a lot in that video as we set our Aero, get our ride height set, and get this thing to where it runs really good through around that racetrack and get some real speed out of the thing. This thing's already scary fast. Once we get the Aero figured out, get our shocks dialed in, I think this thing is just going to be insane fast. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and quit the recording for now, and we will see you in the next one. Take her easy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day.